Here we go.
Hello.
We made it. It's working.
Technical issues.
Hello, everybody. My name is René Garcia.
I'm Brian Glass.
That's Brian Glass. And things look a little different around here because having some hardware issues and had to go to a backup computer, and it just doesn't quite have the same beefy specs. So if things get a little crazy, if they look a little shabby, that is why. But we will persevere, just
Yes.
like the heroes and heroine of the movie we will be flicking or not flicking. Hobbs and Shaw. Fast and the Furious. Hobbs and Shaw.
Yes.
I don't know who flicks first. Brian?
I think it's me right now. And I think we decided on a brand new convention. We're gonna flick it if we don't like it, and I think we're gonna pick it if we do like it. Is that right?
I'm gonna Yeah, I wish we had icons and everything I wanted to do, but oh well.
Yeah.
Flick or pick. These are the hand gestures.
And then I will not be giving any hand gestures.
No hand gestures.
All right, you want me to just go into this thing?
So I'm asking you, is that how it works?
I think that's this week, yeah.
Oh, it doesn't matter. It's all crazy today. It's backwards day, everybody.
Backwards day.
So, Brian, what did you think of Fast and the Furious, Hobbs and Shaw?
Yeah, Fast and Furious presents. Because this was kind of it was a movie that was presented, and it was somewhat of a present. This movie.
No, we're not even doing a trailer. This is how ass backwards it is today. No trailer, nothing.
Let's just reenact it.
Boom! Oi! Oi! I'm from England! Oi! I take off my
right.
shirt.
All right. Well, I'm sure people have seen the trailer, and in the trailer, one of the things that happens is Idris Elba's character proclaims himself Black Superman. And I thought that was interesting because the reality is that in this movie, every main character is somewhat of a superhero. Hobbs, Shaw, Idris Elba, sister. I can't remember her name.
All right.
So, she's getting sister in this one.
Haiti or Hattie.
Whatever. And it was so unclear to me. This is a movie where normal physics don't apply. These people all have superhuman strength, endurance, dexterity. They don't really bleed. They're unbreakable, So as far as I'm concerned, Idris Elba may have the billing as being a superhero, but all these guys are. And just like in those types of pictures, we don't have ships in this one, but we've got super cars and trucks and motorcycles that, they fly, they do parkour, they transform in some instances. So it's an interesting type of film. I expect all those I expect those types of things in superhero movies, right? The people with their powers and the different ships. I kind of also expect that for some extent from a Fast and Furious movie. I've not seen them all, but I've seen my fair share. I've seen enough to know that, they're just getting less and less realistic and more just crazy and, out there. So I knew that this one was going to be like super over the top when I went in, and to be honest, I was okay with that. It's kind of like a superhero movie. If you're questioning, well, that guy can't really fly, well, you're probably not going to enjoy the movie. So I kind of went in knowing, all right, this is just going to be silliness, and I'm okay with that. So ultimately, it comes down to characters, relationships. I think that all of the heroes, the good guys in this movie, are all naturally likable, naturally charismatic. I think the movie becomes very cringy the more that Hobbs and Shaw are forced to hurl insults at one another. I mean, there were times I was looking at it like, oh God, I wish they just cut this stuff out, but I feel like they have to do some sort of fan service because they built this up in the past that these guys are contentious, and they're going to do that. They're going to hurl sophomoric insults at one another that, quite honestly, are either not funny, or in a lot of cases they didn't even make sense. Like I was like, that's not even an insult. Or there's like a lead into a joke that, and the other, like the back end of the joke doesn't have anything to do with the beginning of the joke. I'm like, what is this? Is this a joke writing by committee? So a little confusing. Without giving spoilers away, there's one part in the very beginning when Jason Statham's character says, "Oh, I'm what you call a champagne problem," and I'm like, a champagne problem? Is this a thing? This isn't like a saying that you're just utilizing for your own need. You're just making it up because you have a champagne bottle and you're going to do something with it. That kind of level of humor is what we're dealing with here. So, okay, I'm okay with that. I mean, like I said, I was waiting for those parts to end because I felt like when the two of them would kind of compete through actions, that's when things were kind of clever and fun and funny. The action scenes where they both have the same goal, but they're going after a little bit differently. For me, those were fun to watch. There were a couple of those in particular, and I'll get into those a little bit later. In terms of the villain, what's his name in this movie? Brixton or something? Dude, I couldn't even remember his name. That's how badly drawn this character was.
Yeah.
It was just, without Idris Elba bringing some star power to it, it's completely forgettable to me. In fact, and I'll have to get into this after the spoilers, but I didn't understand his motivation at all. He says some words, and in English that makes sense, but it's not that they don't hold up under scrutiny, why he's doing what he's doing. It literally just didn't even make sense. And I think they've even tried to explain it several times, because I'm guessing that studio execs had problems with it too. And you just really need to, hammer this home. And man, I just couldn't understand the whole point of why he was doing what he was doing, which is kind of a problem. When you're trying to follow a movie, you've got other characters who, I'll tell you a couple of them. His daughter, Hobbs' daughter. I'm not sure what her name was, but I think it might have been Exposition. Yeah. And I think then we have Shaw's mom, and I think they named her too, but I think her name was Exposition. I mean, these people are just there to help move the plot along, because it's we have to have a story too. Okay, we'll have these minor characters who come in for one, or a few scenes, just kind of tell us exactly what we need to know to move the story along till we can get back to the action. So, I wasn't really here for the plot, and I was here for the action. I mean, this is what you go into in these movies expecting some cool action. And I felt like the action was kind of on par with the characterization. It's fun. It's free from reality. It's kind of to me, kind of like the polar opposite of what Tom Cruise brings in the Mission Impossible movies, where he's doing those stunts and it's done this is in camera, and it feels different. It feels like, holy crud, how did they do this? Because he's doing it, and you have some level of fear. And in this stunt he hurt his ankle, and he was really hanging on to a plane.
Yeah.
And this one's just in this one, basically you have in a co-starring role green screen. So it's just, these stunts were silly, over the top, some pretty cool set pieces from my perspective. There's one on the side of a building, which I'd never seen anything like that before. It didn't really make any sense again in the physical world, but it was fun to watch. And there was a chase through the streets that brought an interesting vibe to it as well. So I would say overall, in terms of how I felt about the movie, there were times when I felt like I was watching a bunch of music videos kind of strewn together to form a full-length movie. You got montage of, getting the guns, a montage of, showing that this guy's a badass and whatever it is. And it's okay. I don't mind a little bit of that. This is kind of like if testosterone was personified and made a movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's big cartoon fun with a little tiny bit of heart, kind of thrown in there as well. So keeping myself honest about whether I would pick it or flick it. Would I recommend this to someone? Yeah, I'd recommend it to a 13 to 15-year-old kid. Sure. So I'd pick it. It's harmless. It's a harmless movie. How about you, René?
I haven't seen any of the Fast and Furious movies, so this is my first foray into these films. I'm trying to think of another F word to complete the alliteration, but anyway.
You foolishly
First and foremost.
did not flee.
Oh, very good. So, I don't know. I was trying to, yeah, obviously, as someone who consumes media, it's hard not to have, not to cobble together some kind of understanding of what these films are like. And I guess I was trying to, go into this movie with fresh eyes, with no expectations, and yet I did have expectations, right? I mean, I don't know how else to put it. And so on one hand, this really disappointed me because I thought these movies, while they were getting more and more over the top, I thought they were still like this grounding of reality as. I thought there was some kind of like rule within the world that that these guys were not necessarily like superheroes within the world, that they were just guys. Like maybe they were at the top of their game or whatever, but I didn't expect them to have any like special training that allowed them to do what they did in this movie. So for instance, that set piece where they're fighting down the side of a building, I don't know that anyone would just dive out the side of the building, in pursuit of these people.
Yes, you do know. They wouldn't.
Well, okay, well, there you go. And it's one thing if, like they're constantly pitting, or not pitting, but comparing, especially The Rock, to like other agents within these different governmental agencies, right? Espionage agencies. And so, like everyone else they're just like normal people, the way that you would expect them to be. And so to have The Rock and then, to have Jason Statham doing the things that they're doing, it just seemed, as you said, cartoonish, but kind of in a bad way. Like in an unbelievable, this doesn't even make sense within the rules of the world way, right? Like if this were The Matrix, okay, fine, I can get behind it. Do whatever you're going to do, right? Like they're that elite, and they have that much control over their avatars within we'll call it the game world, that they're able to do those things. Does this make sense?
Yeah, it totally does.
Right. And they don't establish that here, right? It's just like, okay, why are they able to do these things and these other people are not able to do these things? I mean, at one point, the sister, she beats up a guy that's guarding her, who's ostensibly one of the good guys, and I see her visibly jab a chair into his throat while he's pressed up against a window. And I'm like, why is she able to do that? And we're still supposed to like root for her. Like she's still like one of the good guys. Like there are no rules. There are no repercussions to these people. Now, granted, that guy guarding her is also a cartoon character, and his trachea isn't crushed, right? He gets to be a little comedic scene. He doesn't die. I don't even know where I'm going anymore, Brian, but I know this sounds like I'm kind of being negative about it, but I actually found myself enjoying the movie. Like I just accepted, okay, if these guys are superheroes within the movie, some of these action sequences are very stylish. Like here's the thing. If the movie could have been a little more, like I guess I was looking for a little more groundedness. But once I accepted that these action sequences are going to be like super polished, they're like, I think they were driving a McLaren, going under the car, and then Idris Elba's behind them with a motorcycle. I'm like, oh, that looks like perfect.
Right.
You know what I mean? I was like, okay, they really want to make this look sexy, and I accepted it. Only until like the last 30 minutes of the movie did I say, this is stupid. It could have ended, the scene. It could have ended at that scene. They should have had the big showdown. Instead, they have this cockamamie thing just, because I don't know who made this decision, who was the impetus behind it. I can only imagine that someone, if not The Rock himself, said, "Hey, we need to have the climax. We'll call it the fourth act, if you will, or the extended third act, part 2, here in this other place, just because I'm trying to establish my diversity cred." I don't know.
It's in the trailer. You can say where it was.
Oh, well, I mean, yeah, I know. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
They're in freaking Samoa, and I'm like, why? This is so stupid. Like, they have to write in all of these conventions to make it work. And I'm like, dumb. Anyway.
They wrote a character in to make it work.
That too. They wrote in a whole new character with just like the barest of foundation in the beginning. Like this little picture. And here's the thing. Because I hadn't seen the other movies, I thought, well, maybe this was established earlier. Like, Helen Mirren's character.
I don't know.
I don't know either. So, can I really knock the movie for, not laying the foundation that I'm used to? Since I didn't bother to watch the other million movies in the series that would have gotten me here.
You're not committed. Should have watched them all.
I know. So here's the thing. I did find myself enjoying the movie, and I was kind of like laughing at myself because I was prepared to pick the movie today. But I'm going to give it a qualified pick, Brian, because of that fourth act. It was so ridiculous. And then it wasn't even as ridiculous as I wanted it to be. Like, if you're going to be ridiculous, then be ridiculous. Like, you showed us in the trailer, The Rock with the chain, like, holding the helicopter. Right. And then it's actually a cheat. It's actually something else that's happening there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, man. You're gonna make.
But it was still pretty ridiculous.
It's fine. It's ridiculous. What the thing that made it really, like, dumb, unbelievably dumb, is here's The Rock. We're already in the spoiler section, folks. Spoilers.
Okay, we're going to spoilers. Well, hold on. We need to know if you're. So you are.
I'm picking it. Qualified pick. Qualified pick, Brian.
Got to pick it. You told me last time.
Qualified
one way
pick.
or the other. You told me don't qualify it. Pick it.
Oh, okay, fine. We're not getting nuanced. Pick.
Commit. I know. Believe me, because otherwise it'd be like I sort of pick it.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm standing by it with conviction.
Okay.
I pick it.
I pick it hard. Pick it until it bleeds.
So before you continue, just go to the spoilers.
Spoiler break. Spoiler break.
Well, this has got to be annoying to listen to. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, the fact that I'm clipping all over the place.
That's me. Sorry.
Well, it's you, but it's also me. I'm looking at the meter and I can see myself in the red like every other time, every other vowel. There I go again. Here I am in the clipping zone. How do you like your ears?
Sorry, folks.
Rip headphone users.
Technical issues.
I will try to fix that in post. I don't know how to fix it in post. I just like saying that.
All right. Can you spoil?
Okay. So the trailer shows him holding the chain, right? As I have already discussed, and I expected it, for him to be holding the chain. Like, I wanted the chain to like have snapped off the tow truck thing that they're on, and he like grabs it, right, so that they can't flee, and then he's holding onto the truck, the other, like this, like Captain America in whatever Avengers, right? Just like But it's not that. The chain is actually wrapped around something else, and it's like this thing, and so fine, he's still holding the chain.
It's got slack.
It's
Get rid of the slack.
Exactly. But the thing that I found even more ridiculous was that Shaw, Jason Statham's character, who's driving this thing, takes the time to say, "I've got you, Hobbs," or whatever he says, "I've got you, buddy," before he turns to like help him out so that he gets enough slack to like tie the chain around something, right? It's like, you don't have to say anything. Just help him. He's in agony.
They're trying to show that they're forming a brotherhood.
Okay, I understand. It's still stupid.
Dude, how could they hear each other?
There's that too.
I was like, well, he's way back there. Got a helicopter in his right in his face, literally.
Yeah.
Like, I got you, buddy.
All right, well, let's slow down here. Let's dissect this scene a little bit because it was a little crazier than I thought it was going to be from the trailer. All right, so the helicopter grabs the girl. Idris Elba's on the helicopter. They're trying to fly away because she's got the thing, right?
Yes, yes.
The Rock is able to, loop a chain around a wing of the helicopter. Rather than just like throw the chain into the rotors and prevent the thing from like flying away completely, he's able to.
Kill the girl.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're low enough. She could have dived out. She's freaking a super.
I take it back. They all in the helicopter crash later, and they're fine. So I take it back.
There's that too, exactly. Anyway, okay, so now the chain is hooked to this tow truck thing.
Yeah.
And the helicopter. I mean, how much does the tow truck thing weigh? Like
maybe
4,000 pounds?
5 or 6 maybe, because they're supposed to be heavy duty, right?
Okay, plus we'll say another 400 or 500 pounds because you got Jason Statham and The Rock on it as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's round up 7,000 pounds.
Okay.
All right, and so this attack helicopter, I don't know what they're rated to carry, what kind of load they can carry, but apparently they can still fly and lift off with a 7,000 pound load on one side of the helicopter. Like that wing is they rated that wing. They built that wing to be able to carry a 7,000 pound load on just that wing. All right.
Wing hitch. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Just in case that ever happens, like we got to reinforce this part. Okay. So they're able to fly off. They're starting to lift off the tow truck thing. So what happens? They hook up to another tow truck, which is probably, we'll say, another 7,000 pounds, right?
And don't go too far because
okay.
The way that they hook up,
yeah,
I was laughing out loud, not in a good way. I'm like, what's happening? These guys are all like, ha, I let my chains go, perfect hitch. Oh, I let my whatever go, perfect hitch every time.
Perfect, yeah. Yeah, they get a dude and he's throwing these hooks and it hooks onto the truck behind him. And then the third truck does something even crazier. Like he just slows down and he's able to through like inertia, his hooks like flip backwards and then onto the bumper, the other thing. And I'm like, it's like they practice this shit, you know?
Yeah.
Just in case we got to run our drills every day. You never know when an attack helicopter is going to come by.
Back up. Come on.
Do it again.
We're going to get this right. We're on a remote island. You never know when we're going to need to do this.
So now we got 3 of these 7,000 pound trucks all hooked up and this helicopter still is not being brought down. Right. More importantly, the freaking chain, which does not look like a freaking, it's not like the chain that's on an anchor of like a battleship, okay? Like giant links, right? It's like your garden variety chain that you'd hook around your chain link fence, to keep your dog from running out or whatever. And
how funny would it be if, The Rock threw up like an anchor, like a boat anchor with the big chains? Whoa, that'd be incredible.
Might as well. You're going to do this thing. Do it right.
That's the sequel.
And so the other thing that I thought was also moronic is, they go through the trouble of, hey, let's put it in Samoa, and we're going to have, I forgot that little, what they're called, starts with an M, I think, some kind of warrior, where they're dressed in that garb, that skirt thing.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I don't know what they're called.
Anyway, so they all line up and they got their wooden melee weapons, and there's The Rock in all his glory, no shirt, beating up dudes, and I thought he didn't have any pants on. I thought he was just in that skirt thing.
Mm.
But then later, when the girl gets captured and they're flying away in the helicopter, and Shaw pulls up in his flamethrower / tow truck, The Rock just rips off his skirt thing and he's got pants on. And he even takes the time. He's been fighting dudes. Let's back up a little bit. It's nighttime. It's nighttime when the bad guys show up. Right? It's nighttime. And then they start fighting. Next thing you know, it's like 11 o'clock in the morning. Right? And it's like, how long have these guys been fighting?
No, dude, I have the same note. Like, I think that there was some production issue there.
Of course.
Because, like, they light the fire at night.
Yeah.
And then it becomes day. Then the fire's gone.
Yeah.
Then the fire comes back. and then the fire goes away, and I'm like, what's happening here? Like, was this shot in different months or
Right.
something on set? What's happening here? Because yeah, you're right. It was day
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah. Like they tried to make it seem like, the sun, they put in a shot
No.
of like the helicopter flying in and the sun is kind of like, it's kind of like early morning, you know?
And they should have just said it was going to be at dawn.
I know. Exactly. I don't remember any of that dialogue happening.
No, they didn't. They said night.
Yeah. And it's like, dude, these guys have been up all night. Like, you know how tired you are?
Right.
Anyway.
Building.
Yeah, you're building, no rest. All right, now let's fight in our Maori. I think that's what it's called, Maori. Garb. It's like I'd be so pissed off if I was one of those. Dude, I'm in my jammies. Let me sleep. No, you wear your Maori garb. 'Cause we might
I just
fight
have that
soon.
for effect. I never worn that.
Exactly. Anyway, so yeah, they're fighting all night. Here's The Rock, shirtless. Presumably, he's been shirtless the whole night, waiting to fight. Then he fights till 11 o'clock in the morning. And then the girl gets captured. He has the presence of mind. He has the presence of mind to grab a shirt to hide his modesty while he's on the truck. Like
Right
you
when
see
he jumps
him.
on the tow truck, he puts it on.
He's putting it on as he's on the tow, as he's getting on. Just like one hand grabbing, one hand putting it on. Like he's practiced that move just in case. One arm in, grab the truck, put the rest on. There you go.
I can only imagine when I saw that, I was like, that must be for CGI or stunt double purposes or something. It has to be. There has to be a reason that they dedicated frames to him putting a shirt on.
Yeah.
Because, like, first off, you don't want to because he's a Rock. He looks great.
Exactly.
Why should he? So there has to be a reason.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm bumping on the exact same things you were. Very, very confusing. And then the thing that got to me as I was watching this, of course, all the silliness of the cars and the chain, but I'm directing my attention to the helicopter, and I'm thinking, I don't know a lot about how helicopters work, but I have to imagine in this day and age with that level of technology, that helicopters are running off of automatic or automated systems, like a car would, right? So back in the 50s and 60s and earlier. When you're driving, you're using a manual car, right? So I mean, manual transmission and whatnot. So when you need to turn in it and you're going slow, you got to crank into it, right? You got to really use your muscles. And, I've actually, when I began driving, I learned on a car like that, and I was like sore the next day. I'm like, what happened? I didn't realize it was from driving a manual car slowly and learning how to drive. Here we've got a pilot who's cranking up on, trying to lift up the first car. And he apparently wasn't strong enough to use the electronic controls. So Idris Elba shoots him and gets behind the stick so that he can pull up with his super strength. Like, he was pulling so hard on this thing, which I don't think that's how helicopters work. But there's no reason with that kind of strength he's putting in, he wouldn't have just ripped off the whole control.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
So I was like, so the stronger you are, the more cars you can lift? Is that what I'm supposed to equate here?
I think that's what they're telling you.
I was so lost. Yeah, that pulled me out. I wrote down here at one point as I'm writing it, 30 minutes. 30 minutes left. Why am I watching this last section?
Yeah.
So you're right. It is 3.2 or 3.1 or scene or what is it? Act 4. I don't know what I was watching, but you're right. It was completely unnecessary. I think it's because they needed to have a Nas scene, where they're injecting the fuel.
Right.
The that's moonshine. Kind of what Fast and Furious is known for, huh?
The moonshine, he calls it.
Yeah, he calls it moonshine, but it's like Nas, that's their thing.
Right.
And I've seen enough of these movies. It's like, I gotta crank it up now, and like, oh, we forgot to do that. If we add that in, we could probably call this Fast and Furious Presents, and we'll get some additional marketing money out of this. I don't know, man. It seemed like a studio idea. It had to, or like you said, it could have been Dwayne Johnson's. I don't know, but I was fine if it just stopped before.
Yes, exactly. That fight on the back of the truck as they're speeding away. Maybe the girl is, doing the medical thing, and that, it doesn't take 30 minutes in my version of the script. They just need time. The dude gets on the back of the truck. Now the Rock and Jason Statham they have to fight him on the back of the truck, and maybe he's too difficult, and luckily for them, the building or whatever falls on him and crushes him, or whatever, right? That would have been fine. I mean, like, okay, good enough, you know?
Yeah.
Instead,
Nice and neat.
that's what I mean. Instead, no, we got to go to Samoa. And, to be honest, I thought, they threw in Kevin Hart into the movie for some reason, as I don't know, because he's worked with The Rock before.
Maybe they became friends on Jumanji or something. I don't know.
Sure. Well, they did another movie as well where he's like, sidekick on to Rock's CIA persona. In any event, I was hoping they would have done something a little more there instead of what they did, which is just like this expositional, hey man, thanks for getting us the plane to Samoa.
Yeah.
Like, we didn't get to see any of that. He's just driving, which is why, once again, I just felt like it was just like tacked on at the last minute. There's no connective tissue at all. There are no scenes of like, hey, okay, we got to get the plane tickets. We got to get to the airport to get to Samoa. We got to do all this stuff. You know what I mean?
It's Russia and then it's Samoa.
Yeah.
Like that.
Like that.
And I was like, well, they're either going to talk about it or have one silly scene with Kevin Hart. Oh, here's the silly scene with Kevin Hart. And they put him in the bathroom. Okay.
Well, and that's the thing. I was hoping, like, it would have been better for me if Kevin Hart's character, he's still an air marshal, and, they don't believe that he has the kind of history that he's saying he does. Mm-hmm. Right? And then at the last, in like a critical moment, he is there to save the day with like air support or whatever, right? And then he can say something like, yeah, fucking air marshals or something, like, oh, whatever. Hey, we got a crappy setup right now. I can do whatever I want. Low rent, bro.
Takes off his shirt. Just like The Rock does for no reason. Puts on the skirt. Hey, what's happening?
Yeah. Well, you know what? There are other things in this movie that, once again, because I haven't seen the other movies, like Ryan Reynolds is in this movie. Was he?
Dude, Deadpool was in this movie. That wasn't Ryan Reynolds.
Oh, right. Well, Ryan Reynolds is just Ryan Reynolds in every movie.
Now he is. He didn't used to be. But since he got popular again, like after the resurgence in his career, it's just been Deadpool after Deadpool. Okay. And the funny thing is, he had one of the lines I actually laughed at early on. I'm like, okay, I like that. Because he calls him, what is his name? Lucas Rebecca Hobbs.
Right.
So what's it going to be, Becky? I'm like, okay, it's funny. It's cute.
Right.
But I mean, it's keeping with him. And I don't think he's been in other movies of the series. I may be wrong. I've only seen a few of these.
I've only seen this one, so I don't know.
But I was like, okay, I don't know if it was just stunt casting, or like, again, there may be friends outside.
Right.
But I like Ryan Reynolds. So at least I was laughing at it for the first time because, like the joke, when they were first going at it, Hobbs and Shaw, and they're hurling their insults. I think I wrote one down here. It was such a bad one. And I'm like, yeah. Hobbs says, every time you speak, it's squeaky. Like dragging my testicles over shattered glass.
It hurts.
It hurts. Every time you speak, it's squeaky. And this is talking to Jason Statham. Jason Statham, who talks like this.
Exactly.
Like what? He's got a deeper voice than you, Rock.
Right.
What are you talking about? Like it was this level of things just not even adding up.
Yeah.
But then there were some jokes later where they were almost thrown away. And I enjoyed it. Like when they're in the garage, and he gives them an outfit to wear. Yeah. And he says, what did he say?
Might be loose in the crotch. Or whatever.
Yeah, something like that. He just throws it away. It wasn't like, delivered straight to camera.
Right, yeah.
I'm going to make the joke now. It's just, he just says it. And I was like, it's funny.
You know what? Now that you say that is another thing that kind of like made me pause a little bit. Like the insults at the beginning, when they're insulting each other, it's like straight to the camera. Like he's talking to you, the audience member.
Yeah.
What the hell is this?
Stop yelling at me, Rock.
Yeah.
Stop yelling at me,
and
Jason Statham.
Why does Jason Statham like The Rock is like 6'5",
right? And
Jason Statham's like 5'9" or something, right?
Yeah.
Why does he have an outfit that can fit The Rock in a trunk somewhere? He's like, this might fit. It's the only thing I got. It's like, well, Yeah, I would have thought like, okay, maybe it's like, a shirt, but it's like getting ripped in the biceps or something. Like
Right.
you have to rip
Something.
off the sleeves to make it fit, Hulk
Sure.
style.
I was gonna say Hulk it out.
Yeah. Nope, it fits perfectly. This
It
perfect
was.
tracksuit.
It's because yeah, I know. It's because this is they're going for the big broad audience. I mean, Rock has a cheat day and they break him out a stack of pancakes. It's like 30 pancakes high. Sight gag. Sight gag. Do you think anyone laughed at that was older than 12?
No.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, that's not even funny, guys.
Yeah.
It's not even funny. Like you could have trimmed out a good 15 minutes of just trying, and it would have been actually okay. I mean, the stuff that was there, the action stuff, I actually enjoyed watching because it was like choreography,
Yeah, right, exactly.
and I'm okay with that. I mean, that honestly, that motorcycle, as unrealistic as it was so cool to watch.
It was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me just say, when you going back to the comedy thing, the audience that I watched this movie with did not laugh at all either, Brian.
Really?
I don't think the audience you watched it with laughed either.
No, no chuckles. Maybe a few chuckles. That's about it.
Are you sure?
Yeah, a few chuckles.
Okay.
Or maybe some unintended chuckles.
Okay. Anyway,
Dude, that bike rode up the wall at one point, and they didn't even explain it. So I was like, okay. I
oh
guess
right,
this bike,
yeah, it runs, yeah.
Spiking on walls. That's
Well,
awesome.
it drives by itself, balances
not?
by itself. It's like, okay, awesome.
I felt like after it went under the two semis, that I don't know if it was in my just like what I heard, but I thought I heard like a little transformer sound effect. Was it there?
Right. Yeah, I think it was there. I think I heard that too.
So I'm like, well, at least they're not taking themselves seriously. Okay.
Yeah, I think there's a YouTube video for that scene. It's
okay.
by itself, and I think they actually call it Transformer Motorcycle.
I bet. That's
Yeah.
funny.
Anyway,
No, that's what it felt like.
I don't know what else. You got something else to say about this, Brian?
I got a few things. There was one thing which like the one very small line that brought like a big smile to my face, which was when Jason Statham references the Italian Job.
Oh right. Yeah.
I was like,
got
oh,
a
that's-
job in Italy.
Love that because I really enjoy that movie. That's one of those that has like great repeat watchability for me. And by the way, an underrated soundtrack. If you ever just want to go in and listen to it, really, really well done.
Yeah.
I thought some of the one of the jokes I thought was kind of funny, the Michael Oxmall.
Right.
I thought that was funny because I never heard one. I'm like, I thought I heard every one of these.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, same here. I was very surprised by that as well. So I was like, oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah, and they didn't give anyone time. Like he just says it, and then all of a sudden he's at the airport, and it happens. You're like, oh, I didn't have time to even think about it, but that's a new one.
Yeah.
So I do want to talk just for a second.
Well, I have something nice to say.
Okay.
I like the
did
girl. I like the
blonde.
girl. I can't remember her name, and it's bad that I didn't look it up, but I was watching this at like 11 o'clock last night, and maybe that's why I think I liked or I had a good time watching the movie, because I was so like hopped up on caffeine from coffee. I had like 4 cups of coffee watching this movie, and I was just like, I was having a good time. I don't know what it is. But okay, so getting to the girl.
Vanessa Kirby.
I think this girl has, she's got star power. Like she knows how she fits into this movie, and she has that, she's got charisma about her.
Yeah.
She's committed to the scenes. I mean, I could just go on here. And she's not, she's easy on the eyes, not half bad to look at. I first saw her in Mission Impossible, whatever it is, 1,000,000. And I found her kind of, I don't know, maybe a little annoying in that movie. Like maybe overacting the part. But here, I think she does a laudable job. And I got it, just this has less to do with her and more about how the movie was set up. I really liked the beginning. I really liked, basically because it kind of reminded me of like the intro of a video game, where her entire team gets wasted by this insurmountable force, and she does something heroic basically to prevent the villain from winning in the beginning of the movie. And I thought this is a great way to start the movie, or at least set up this character. Like it reminded me of like a James Bond intro. Like one of my favorite, and I know I'm kind of deviating here, but my favorite James Bond pre-credit scene is Tomorrow Never Dies, when the arms dealers are all there, and then MI6 or whomever sends a missile to blow it up, but there's a nuclear warhead, and so there's a nuclear warhead at the site, so James Bond has to go and fly the nuclear warhead out before the missile arrives. And I thought, this is a great beginning of a movie, and I felt that same feeling here with this movie. The rest of the movie is just kind of like fighting gravity from there, but it started off very promising.
Yeah. I liked her too. I thought she was really good. I'm sure I've seen her before in Mission Impossible. She was new to me though in this movie, so I guess I didn't recognize her before. But I thought she did a great job too. I thought her action scenes, one thing I always look for is how believable is this person in holding their own, physically. And I thought she did great there. So, I had no complaints about her at all. You don't agree?
I didn't like the 90-pound woman versus The Rock scene. I mean,
but I did like the ending of it.
Oh, okay, fine. Yeah. I mean, how else could you end it, really? But, I don't care how jujitsu you are or whatever, right? We're talking about physics here.
Yeah. I mean, I was looking at her really, honestly, more against the plebeians, the regular guys that she has to just take out.
Okay, even then, it's like, there's a scene late in the movie where she's with the doctor. They're trying to escape from the place, and there are just two random jobbers there, and she has to like do some cool moves. It's not shot very well, and you can see the choreography and where she's not like connecting as much as she needs to, like if it were a real fight.
Yeah.
To the point where she's got like full arm extension, already, and she still needs to go like another 3 inches to hit the guy. You know what I mean? So she's just like pushing into him. Exactly. And I'm just like, that should have been shot a little more creatively to give it the illusion of like power.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there you go.
But that one scene where the two of them are going through those, I guess they had arrived in Moscow. They have the rooms. They each select a room. And then The Rock goes against the real big guy. Gives him like a jab, and he goes down.
Right.
Which I thought was clever. And then the whole scene where Jason Statham is basically just trying to impress The Rock.
Right. Yeah.
That's the only thing he's trying to do. I found that to be the funniest scene in the movie. Like I was pleasantly surprised with it. I was enjoying that whole thing.
Okay.
Yeah. But it was over the top, but it was like, this is silly, and it's like, it's almost like trying to impress a brother, it's like, no, still not enough. Watch this, whatever it is. That to me was just like, this is just fun, cornball fun, I mean, there are no stakes, he's going to get obviously to the door.
All right.
I didn't like the ending of it where he's just constantly hitting the people or using them for their, whatever it is, their eyes to get in.
Yeah.
To get
their facial scanning.
Yeah, I didn't really care about that, but getting there I thought was fun and creative and well choreographed again. And this is all like Jackie Chan without, with more violence and less humor. So it's like I like choreographed fight scenes, and I think Statham does a really good job with them. So
yeah.
But I thought his acting in it during it was just fun. He's a charming guy, so to me it was one where I was like surprisingly smiling at it. And then just, you're right though, after that point, to me, that's when the gravity started to set in. I was like, oh, it's all downhill from here. Oh no, we have another movie to watch. We're going to Samoa.
Yeah. It's almost as if The Rock wrote that scene or the last 30 minutes. He's like, yeah, I've been working on a script. You know,
It's not a real full movie,
it's
but
only 30 minutes. You think we could work it in here somehow?
not really a short, not really a movie.
Right.
What do you think? Maybe it's an act.
You know what could have made that scene better for me? The whole face smashing, face ID scene, is if later in the movie, that's actually how they open the doors. Like they have to smash their face into it. Then I would have been like, okay, that's clever. You know?
Open the door. You open the door.
Yeah, exactly.
Come on, man. Just open the door.
They got one guy who's got like a broken nose. You know, he's like, I opened it last time. See, that would have been good.
Or the guy's like, he's being held up. It's like, I got this. Pushes Statham away and just hits his head into it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
If you're gonna go there, go all the way.
Yeah.
I do want to spend just a minute talking about this plan, this nefarious plan, because I may have just missed it. I mean, I do have to admit that once we got to about that 40 minutes left, where you have a little bit left in Moscow and then all of Samoa, I was just like kind of ready to wrap it up, So I might have just missed it, but at one point they're talking about the whole plot, right? They're saying the point of releasing this virus, this global virus, is because they're interested in the evolution of the planet, right? And so my understanding of it is that this is going to kill anyone who's not protected by whatever they're either injecting themselves with, or I'm not really clear about how they would be protected, the people who are on that over in Moscow. So first and foremost, there's an actual line in the movie where Idris Elba says genocide, schmevicide, which I thought was terribly written. This is his reaction. Yeah. And then he says that this is a virus that's necessary to shock the system. Okay. Then he says, okay, well that's actually another issue, but I didn't understand what it would do. Like, was this something that was going to wipe out part of humanity? Yeah. The weakest of humanity, anyone not protected? Right. So I didn't get that, first and foremost. Right. Secondly, I didn't understand the scientist's role in this. Like, his idea was, I want to create something that could dispense a vaccine worldwide to protect people. Yeah. In a world where we have to opt into everything, he's just going to release a vaccine into the air, and the world will be affected as a result of it, and that's a good thing. And he thought he was doing good. So I'm like, I didn't understand the basis of it. I didn't understand what Idris Elba's character was doing with this whole thing. Yeah. I didn't see any women who were, in the Moscow camp fighting. So I'm like, if we're going to get rid of everyone, all we're going to have is these males who have computer upgrades in them. And is that where we're going? Is this going more towards the AI side of things, or machines? Or I was so confused as to what was happening with the villain. And I mean, I know I'm not really supposed to focus a lot of attention there, but I was still trying to make some sense of it. Right. So, I mean, eventually what I did is I just let it all go. I'm like, okay, I'm just going to focus on what they're doing and the cool stunts, and have, kind of surrender myself to the silliness. But if they're going to put it in there, I would think that it should at least make sense. So did I miss something?
No, I'm pretty much on the same page with you. It does seem to change, because the stakes are, if this virus gets released, everyone dies, right? They're saving the world. But then, like, I don't know, maybe a little after halfway through the movie, I think Idris Elba says something to the effect of, only the weak are going to die, or something like that, right? Okay. I'm like, okay, well then, who are the weak? I mean, do I just need to put on a sweater and I'm going to be okay? Is The Rock going to be affected? He's pretty strong. Is he going to be fine? You know what I mean? Or are all the children going to be wiped out? Like, we just lose generations?
Yeah, exactly.
So you're right. That I didn't understand. I mean, at that point, it's just kind of like, it's just a MacGuffin. It's just for them to get together and fight. I'm like, okay, whatever. At no point did I think the girl was ever going to die, right?
Would have been great if she did.
Exactly. She's just like on the helicopter, just explodes.
and then it's like just or no, or if he kill or she kills herself, you know, and then it's
Yeah.
just retribution. Like, huh, stakes.
Right.
Who
Right.
knew?
Yeah.
That would be cool.
Well, but they already had the forced romance between her
I know.
and The Rock. Let's seal it with a kiss or whatever the hell that whole sequence was.
I don't know. Silly.
Um,
Tacked on. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
There's one scene in there where I keep saying Idris Elba's. I can't remember his character's name.
Brixton.
Brixton. It doesn't help that the guy who says it more than anyone else says it with such a thick accent. I'm like,
Yeah.
I still can't figure out what your name is.
Right.
What the guy's name is? Brixton. Princeton? What's happening?
Tony Braxton? You're fighting
going
Tony
to-
Braxton?
He's trying to get some information out of the scientist, right?
Yeah.
He's a scientist. He's got glasses on, right? And one of the lenses is broken.
Right.
He's a scientist. So his idea is to aim a flamethrower at him. And I'm like, is he burning him? Am I going to see a half-charred scientist?
Right.
I didn't know he was never burnt, by the way.
Right.
He's just heating up the air around him. I didn't understand any of the logic. So I'm like, I'm not understanding why this guy's doing it. I understand the choices he's making. I don't understand, this whole setup with this computer voice that's talking to him.
Okay, thank you. Let's get to that.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was cool that, he's getting called into the special room to talk to the director, which is like this disembodied voice, and you can't quite make out who it is. I thought that was kind of a neat idea that I'd never thought of before.
Yeah. So, I would have made a reference earlier, but considering our pre-show conversation, I was like, let it go. Let's move on.
I couldn't.
Anyway, well, I don't know. Okay, yeah, so that's the other thing. Once again, not having seen the rest of the series, I didn't know hey, is this Charlie's Angel guy? Has he been established before? Or is this like a whole new convention for everybody?
I think it was new.
And it's like, you're right. I mean, I get the feeling that it was new as well, but they've just like out of whole cloth built this entire weird organization of singularity guys who are like, we will meld man and machine, right. Like Unitarians. I don't even know if that's what a Unitarian is. But anyway, it's just out there, right? It's like bordering sci-fi. Well, no, it is sci-fi. It's like pure sci-fi now all of a sudden. Right. So I'm like, this is weird. You're making these cyborgs, and now they're in the Fast and Furious universe.
Yeah.
I can only imagine 3 iterations from now what else is going to be in here. Like, will they actually have like aliens invading
Captain Marvel?
Well, whatever, right? And then Hobbs and Shaw just like look at each other, I'll take Captain Marvel, you take the aliens.
I got the aliens last time.
Yeah.
I got the aliens last time. you talk like a little girl. I know, I can't help it. What? This makes no sense. None of these movies make sense, mate.
Exactly.
Show me the money.
As long as they keep paying us, I'll keep saying these lines.
What's funny is we both, in the end, kind of gripped it, though. Or picked it, rather.
Picked it. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I still had a good time.
I did, too. Maybe not the last half hour.
Well, right. It overstayed its welcome, to be sure.
It kind of felt like when it went from day to night that I had been watching it for about a day.
Right. It does make you feel that way. Correct.
Really,
Correct. Yeah.
Actually, and then they go into the whole last scene when they, they're all safe from the helicopter crash and flying over a cliff because there's a little water. I was like, oh God, I hope it's over soon. This is fine. I'm done. And then they finally learn the lesson that Idris Elba with all his upgrades cannot manage 2 people.
Cannot. Exactly.
He manage one at a time.
Exactly. I was like, really? How was he able to kill an entire squad of dudes in the beginning? If only they had shot at him at the same time or whatever.
Exactly, or attacked him.
Or,
I
yeah,
think that's
just-
what they did. They did the old convention of, one guy goes in,
Yeah.
then the next guy goes in. It's like, this is easy. I can program. I know exactly what they're going to do next.
Right.
Two people.
The computer just like malfunctions in his brain, like
runs, just runs away. Oh boy. Well,
this was
that's all I have to say about that one.
this was a lot longer conversation about this movie than I was expecting us to have. But yeah, so ultimately, I think I would still pick it.
Yeah,
It still falls on the pick it side, Brian.
it falls, but it's there on the
Yeah,
ticket side.
it's there. It's a dead carcass, but it's there.
The Idris Elba at the end of this movie, it's there, lying there, getting washed ashore, back and forth and rotting. On that note, if you enjoyed this show, and you want to pick this show, and we're barely on over the line of flicking or picking, please subscribe. Smash, what is it? Smash like is now
Yes.
people say now.
Smash that
Is that what the
like
kids
button.
say? Smash that like button, and then smash. After you stop watching the show, or what? I don't understand.
Smash means something else after in a different context, Brian.
Word.
Okay.
So yeah. Tell a friend. That's it. Thank you. See you next time.
Goodbye.
Bye.